Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapatakamalам Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Saganaraguna Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prisabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarpyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashattaya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble
Hare
obeisances. All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribol. Okay, so today we read about Kamsa beginning his persecutions. Who wants to start?
I can.
Yes, Prabhu. Haribol.
Okay. Kamsa begins his persecutions. After Vasudeva adjusted all the doors and gates, the gatekeepers awoke and heard the newborn child crying. Kamsa was waiting to hear the news of the child's birth, and the gatekeepers immediately approached him and informed him that the child was born. At that time, Kamsa got up from his bed very quickly and exclaimed, "Now the cruel death of my life is born." Kamsa became perplexed now that his death was approaching and his hair stood on end. Immediately he proceeded towards the place where the child was born. Devaki, on seeing her brother approaching, prayed in a very meek attitude to Kamsa, "My dear brother, please do not kill this female child. I promise that this child will be the wife of your son. Therefore, don't kill her. You are not to be killed by any female child." That was the omen. You are to be killed by a male child, so please do not kill her. My dear brother, you have killed so many of my children who were just born shining as the sun. This is not your fault. You have been advised by demonic friends to kill my children. But now I beg you to execute this girl. Let her live as my daughter. Kamsa was so cruel that he did not listen to the beautiful prayers of his sister Devaki. He forcibly grabbed the newborn child to rebuke his sister and attempted to dash her on the stone mercilessly. What? How do you pronounce it, Prabhu? Mercilessly.
Yes,
Mercilessly. Something like that. Yo, it's slipping my tongue. This is a graphic example of a cruel brother who could sacrifice. Prabhu, can I just ask, did they lie to Kamsa when they said it was a girl, ne?
No, Prabhu, it was a girl.
Oh, it was a girl.
Yes, Prabhu, because the child were swapped. Because Krishna was born, but then Krishna was
Oh, we went
swapped
to.
with the female child. They were swapped.
Okay, okay, Prabhu. Now I get it.
And then
This is a.
yes,
Okay.
Prabhu, and then Kamsa was confused or they were confused because it was supposed to be a boy. Then Kamsa was confused, but still he wanted to kill her.
Oh, yeah. This is a graphic example of a cruel brother who could sacrifice all relationships for the sake of personal gratification. But immediately the child slipped out of his hands, went up in the sky, and appeared with 8 arms as the younger sister of Vishnu. She was decorated with a nice dress and flower garlands and ornaments. In her 8 hands, she held a bow, lessened, is it a lessened, arrows, bell, conch shells, disc, club, and shield. Seeing the appearance of the child, who was actually the goddess Durga, all the demigods from different planets like Siddhaloka, Charana, Loka, Gandhavana Loka, Apaksha Loka, Kina, Kinara Loka, and Uragra Loka. Okay, Uragra Loka presented her articles and began to offer their respective prayers from above. The goddess addressed Kamsa. You rascal, how can you kill me? The child who will kill you is already born before me, somewhere within this world. Don't be so cruel to your poor sister. After this appearance, the goddess Durga became known by various names in various parts of the world. After hearing these words, Kamsa became very much overwhelmed with fear. Oh, 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 of pity. He immediately released Vasudeva and Devaki from the bondage of their shackles and very politely began to address them. He said, My dear sister and brother-in-law, I have acted just like a demon in killing my own nephews. I have given up all considerations of our intimate relationship. I do not know what will be the result of this act of mine. Probably I shall be sent to the hell where killers of the Brahmanas go. I am surprised, however, that the celestial prophecy has not come true. True. False propaganda is not found only in the human society. Now it appears that even the celestial de, Denizens, what is it, Prabhu? Denizens.
Yes.
Deniz this okay. Denizens speaks lies because I believed in the word of the celestial Denizens. I have committed so many sins by killing the children of my sister. My dear Vasudeva and Devaki, you are both very great souls. I have nothing to instruct you, but still, I request that you not be sorry for the death of your children. Every one of us is under the control of superior power, and that superior power does not allow us to remain together. We are bound to be separated from our friends and relatives in due course of time. But we must know for certain that even after the disappearance of the different material bodies, the soul remains intact eternally. For example, there are many pots made of earthly clay, and they are prepared and also broken. But in spite of this, the earth remains as it is. Perpetually, similarly, the bodies of the soul under different conditions are made and destroyed, but the spirit soul remained eternally, so there is nothing to lament over. Everyone should understand that this material body is different from the spirit soul, and so long as one does not come to that understanding, he's he is sure to accept the processes of transmigration from one body to another. My dear sister Devaki, you are so gentle and kind. Please excuse me. Okay, please excuse me. Don't be aggrieved by the death of your children, which I have caused. Actually, this was not done by me because all these are predestined activities. One has to act according to the predestined plan. Every unwilling people misunderstand that with the end of their body, the self dies, or they think that one can kill another living entity. All these misconceptions oblige one to accept the conditions of material existence. In other words, as long as one is not firmly convinced of the eternality of the soul, one is subjected to the tribulation of being killer and killed. My dear sister D, is there a missing word there? My dear sister Devaki, maybe. And brother-in-law Vasudeva, kindly excuse the atrocities I have committed against you. I am very poor-hearted and you are so great-hearted. So take compassion upon me and excuse me. While Kamsa was speaking to his brother-in-law and sister, tears flowed from his eyes and he fell down at their feet, believing the words of Durga Devi, whom he had tried to kill. Kamsa immediately released his brothers-in-law and sisters. He personally unlocked the iron shackles and very sympathetically showed his friendship, just like a family member. When Devaki saw her brother so repentant, she also became pacified and forgot all his atrocious activities against her children. Vasudeva, also forgetting all past incidents, spoke similarly with his brothers-in-law. Vasudeva told Kamsa, my dear fortunate brother-in-law, what you are saying about the material body and the soul is correct. Every living entity conception of life is due to ignorance, and on the basis of this ignorance, we create enmity or friendship, lamentation, jubilation, fearfulness, envy, greed. Illusion and madness are different features of our material conception of life. A person influenced like this engages in enmity due only to the material body. Being engaged in such activities, we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva took the opportunity of Kamsa's benevolence and informed him that his atheistic activities were also due to this misconception of life, namely taking the material body to be the self. When Vasudeva talked with Kamsa in such an illuminating way, Kamsa became very pleased and his guilt from killing his nephews subdued. With the permission of his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, he returned to his home with a relieved mind. But the next day, Kamsa called all his counselors together and narrated to them all the incidents that had happened the night before. All the counselors of Kamsa were demons and eternal enemies of the demigods. So they became depressed upon hearing their master speak on the night's event. And although they were not very much experienced or learned, they began to give instructions to Kamsa as follows. Dear sir, let us now make arrangements to kill all children who were born within the last 10 days in all towns, countries, villages, and pasturing grounds. Let us execute this plan indiscriminately. We think that the demigods cannot do anything against us if we perform these atrocities. They are always afraid of fighting with us, and even if they wish to check our activities, they will not dare to do so because of the immeasurable strength of your bow. They fear you. Indeed, we have practical experiences that wherever you stood to fight with them and began to shower your arrows on them, they immediately began to flee in all directions just to save their lives. Many of the demigods were unable to fight with you, and they immediately surrendered themselves unto you by opening their turbans and the flag on their heads with folded hands. They begged you to spare them and said, my lord, we are all afraid of your strength. Please release us from this dangerous fight. We also have seen many times that you would never kill such surrendered fighters. When they were all fearful, their bows, arrows, and chariots broken, forgetful of their military activities and unable to fight with you. So actually, we have nothing to fear from these demigods. They are very proud of being great fighters in peace time outside of the war field, but actually they cannot show any talent or military power on the war field. Although Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma are always ready to help the demigods headed by Indra, we have no reason to be afraid of them. As far as Lord Shiva is concerned, he has already hidden himself within the hearts of all living entities, and he cannot come out. As far as Lord Shiva is concerned, he has renounced all activities. He has already entered into the forest, and Lord Brahma is always engaged in different types of austerities and meditation. And what to speak of Indra? He is a straw in comparison to your strength. Therefore, we have nothing to fear from all these demigods, but we must not neglect them, because the demigods are our determined enemies. We must be careful to protect ourselves, to root them out from their very existence. We should just engage ourselves in your service and be always ready for your command. The demons continue to say, if there is some disease in the body which is neglected, it becomes incurable. Similarly, when one is careful about restraining their sense and let them loose, it is very difficult to control them at all. Therefore, we must always be very careful of the demigods before they get too strong to be subdued. The foundation of strength of the demigods is Lord Vishnu, because the ultimate goal of all religious principle is to satisfy him. The Vedic injunctions, the brahmanas, the cows, the austerities, sacrifices, performances of charity, and distribution of wealth are all for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. So let us immediately begin by killing all the brahmanas who are in charge of the Vedic knowledge, and the great sages who are in charge of sacrificial ritualistic performances. Let us kill all the cows which are the source of butter, which is so necessary for performing sacrifices. Please give us your permission to kill all these creatures. Actually, the limbs of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu are the brahmanas, the cows, Vedic knowledge, austerity, truthfulness, sense and mind control, faithfulness, charity, tolerance, and performance of sacrifices. Lord Vishnu is situated in everyone's heart and is the leader of all demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. We think that to kill Lord Vishnu is to persecute the great sages and brahmanas, said the ministers. Thus, being advised by the demonic ministers, Kamsa, who was from the very beginning the greatest rascal, decided to persecute the brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Being entrapped by the shackles of all-devouring eternal time, he ordered the demons to what is it, hashes, or what is it, hashes, to hashes all kinds of saintly persons, and then he enters his house. The adherents of Kamsa were all influenced by the modes of passion as well as illusioned by the modes of ignorance, and their only business was to create enmity with saintly persons. Such activities can only reduce the duration of life. The demons accelerated the process and invited their death as soon as possible. The result of persecuting saintly persons is not only ultimate death. The act is so offensive that the actor also gradually loses his beauty, his fame, and his religious principles, and his promotion to higher planets is also checked. Driven by various kinds of mental concoction, the demons diminish all kinds of welfare. An offense at the lotus feet of the devotees and brahmanas is a great offense than that committed at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, a godless civilization becomes the source of all calamities. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th chapter of Krishna. Kamsa begins his persecutions.
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Haribo, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
See, Kamsa was crazy.
Haribo.
First he released them, and then he again wanted to take them back.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, when they swapped with Mother Yashoda, ne? Devaki swapped with Mother Yashoda.
The child was swapped from the prison. They swapped both the children.
Oh, yes. So, meaning Mother Yashoda had a baby girl.
Yes, and everyone were sleeping.
Okay.
Yoga Maya caused everyone to sleep, and then Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, he swapped the children.
Okay, Prabhu.
But what was here? But then they wanted to kill all the cows, and because they thought that this is the body of Vishnu. If we kill them, then we
Yeah, and as well as they wanted like everything that has to do with it, like the Vedic scriptures too.
yes, Prabhu. We think that the demigods cannot do anything against us if we perform these atrocities. They say.
Yes.
See, first Kamsa was he got shocked because he saw Durga, and he was like, "Oh, I did wrong," and he released them. But by bad association, again, he's changed his mind. This happens often. Also, I see people, they get some really bad, horrible thing happen to them. Then 1 week they change, they're serious. Then again they become nonsense.
Yeah, yeah. This book is interesting. I gotta go find it too, eh? And it's not hard to read.
Yes, Prabhu. This is the best book.
And it explains the story so perfectly, eh?
And then also see when Devaki and Vasudeva they saw that Kamsa became repentant. He started to repent his things. Then they also became pacified, and they didn't feel like any envy towards Kamsa, even though Kamsa had killed like 7 of their children.
Oh, yes, yes.
And Kamsa spoke. Is it Kamsa who spoke this? Yeah, I think. Did
What,
he?
Prabhu?
Who spoke about the body? Because there is someone who spoke about. He explained.
Yes, Prabhu, it's Kamsa.
Yes, Prabhu. See how much knowledge he also had. He knew everything. What is the soul? What is the body? See, he says, every one of us is under the control of superior power, and that superior power does not allow us to remain together. We are bound to be separated from our friends and relatives in due course of time. He spoke really intelligently. But we must know for certain that even after the disappearance of the different material bodies, the soul remains intact eternally. For example, there are many pots made of earthly clay, and they are prepared and also broken. But in spite of this, the earth remains as it is perpetually. He was preaching them the proper philosophy. So funny. But still, he was so
Prabhu,
scared.
actually, he had a good knowledge, but he utilizes it in uh, a bad way with bad
Yes,
association.
he says, so there is nothing to lament over. But when he knew that Krishna is going to kill him, then he lamented and wanted to kill all the children and do all the bad things. Caribou. Let's see how many pages this is. Well, we can read also. Chapter 5. Meeting of Nanda and Vasudeva. Although Krishna was the real son of Vasudeva and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocious activities, Vasudeva could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son. But Nanda Maharaj, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. The next day, it was declared that a male child was born of Yashoda, according to Vedic custom. Nanda Maharaj called for learned astrologers and brahmanas to perform the birth ceremony. After the birth of a child, the astrologer calculate the moment of the birth and make a horoscope of the child's future life. Another ceremony takes place after the birth of the child. The family members take baths, cleanse themselves, and decorate themselves with ornaments and garlands. Then they come before the child and the astrologer to hear of the future life of the child. Nanda Maharaj and other members of the family were assembled there on this occasion. Who were assembled there on this occasion chanted auspicious mantras according to the rituals, while the astrologer performed the birth ceremony. All the demigods are also worshipped on this occasion, as well as the forefathers of the family. Nanda Maharaj distributed 200,000 well-decorated, dressed, and ornamented cows to the Brahmanas. He not only gave cows in charity, but hills of grains, decorated with golden bordered garments and many ornaments. In the material world, we possess riches and wealth in many ways, but sometimes not in very honest and pious ways, because that is the nature of accumulating wealth. According to Vedic injunction, therefore such wealth should be purified by giving cows and gold in charity to the Brahmanas. A newborn child is also purified by giving grace in charity to the Brahmanas. In this material world, it is to be understood that we are always living in a contaminated state. We therefore have to purify the duration of our lives or possession of wealth and ourselves. The duration of life is purified by taking daily baths and cleansing the body inside and outside and accepting the 10 kind of purificatory processes. So what is this 10 kind of purificatory processes?
Like Sundar Prabhu is also telling that 10 types of is there. Like latest Goshti of Friday.
The samskaras are prescribed for every civilized person. Samskarad bhaved vija. Soul purificatory process is, these are the parts. You cannot become a devotee unless you give up sinful activity. Therefore, you have to begin following these 4 prohibitions. You have to avoid sinful activities like illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication, including tobacco, coffee, and tea. Then you'll gradually become completely sinless. So this is our purificatory process. On one side, you have to follow restrictions, and on the other side, you have to engage yourself in devotional service. To engage oneself in devotional service under the order of the spiritual master and the Shastra is the way to remain on the transcendental platform.
Prabhu, I'll be back now just in 1 minute. I just need to take care of something.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thanks, Prabhu.
So the whole thing is that if you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and give up these sinful activities, automatically you become reformed. You come to the spiritual platform, and in this way your life will become successful. By austerities, by worship of the Lord, and by distribution of charity, we can purify the possession of wealth. We can purify ourselves by studying the Vedas, by striving for self-realization, and by understanding the Supreme Absolute. This therefore stated in the Vedic literature that by birth everyone is born as Shudra, and by accepting the purificatory process one becomes twice born. By studies of the Vedas one can become Vipra, which is the preliminary qualification of becoming a Brahmana. When one understands the absolute truth in perfection, he is called a Brahmana, and when the Brahmana reaches further perfection, he becomes a Vaishnava or devotee. In that ceremony, all the Brahmanas assembled began to chant different kinds of Vedic mantras to invoke all good fortune for the child. There are different kinds of chanting known as Suta, Magadha, Vandi, and Virudavali. Along with this chanting of mantras and songs, bugles and kettle drums sounded outside the house. On this occasion, the joyous vibrations could be heard in all the pasturing grounds and all the houses. Within and outside of the houses, there were varieties of artistic paintings done with rice pulp, and scented water was sprinkled everywhere, even on the roads and streets. Ceilings and roofs were decorated with different kinds of flags, festoons, and green leaves. The gates were made of green leaves and flowers. All the cows and bulls and calves were smeared with a mixture of oil and turmeric and painted with minerals like red oxide, yellow clay, and manganese. They wore garlands of peacock feathers and were covered with nice colored dresses and gold necklaces. When all the ecstatic cowherd men heard that Nanda Maharaj, father of Krishna, was celebrating the birth ceremony of his son, they became spontaneously joyful. They dressed themselves with very costly garments and ornamented their bodies with different kinds of earrings and necklaces and wore great turbans on their heads. After dressing themselves in the gorgeous way, they took various kinds of presentation and thus approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. As soon as they heard that Mother Yashoda had given birth to a child, all the cowherd women became overwhelmed with joy, and they also dressed themselves with various kinds of costly garments and ornaments and smeared scented cosmetics on their bodies. As the dust on the lotus flower exhibits the exquisite beauty of the flower, all the gopis, cowherd girls, applied the dust of kunkuma on their lotus-like faces. These beautiful gopis took their different presentations and very soon reached the house of Maharaj Nanda. Overburdened with their heavy hips and swollen breasts, the gopis could not proceed very quickly towards the house of Nanda Maharaj. But out of ecstatic love for Krishna, they began to proceed as quickly as possible. Their ears were decorated with pearl rings, their necks were decorated with jewel padlocks, their lips and eyes were decorated with different kinds of lipstick and ointment, and their hands were decorated with nice golden bangles. As they were hastily passing over the stone road, the flower garlands which were decorating their bodies fell to the ground, and it appeared that the shower of flowers was falling from the sky. From the moment of their different kinds of ornaments on their From the movement of the different kinds of ornaments on their bodies, they were looking still more beautiful. In this way, they all reached the house of Nanda Yashoda and blessed the child. Dear child, you live long just to protect us. While they were blessing child Krishna in this way, they offered a mixture of turmeric powder with oil, yogurt, milk, and water. They not only sprinkled this mixture on the body of child Krishna, but on all other persons who were present there. Also on that auspicious occasion, there were different bands of expert musicians playing. When the cowherd man saw the pastimes of the cowherd woman, they became very joyful, and in the response they also began to throw yogurt, milk, clarified butter, and water upon the bodies of the gopis. Then both parties began to throw butter on each other's bodies. Nanda Maharaj was also very happy to see the pastimes of the cowherd men and women, and he became very liberal in giving charity to the different singers who were assembled there. Some singers were reciting great verses from the Upanishads and Puranas. Some were glorifying the family ancestors, and some were singing very sweet songs. There were also many learned Brahmanas present, and Nanda Maharaj, being very satisfied on this occasion, began to give them different kinds of garments, ornaments, and cows in charity. It is very important to note in this connection how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavan were simply by raising cows. All the cowherd men belonged to the Vaishya community, and their business was to protect their cows and cultivate crops. By their dress and ornaments, and by their behavior, it appears that although they were in a small village, they still were rich in material possessions. They possessed such an abundance of various kinds of milk products that they were throwing butter lavishly on each other's bodies without restriction. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products. Haribol. And by trading their agricultural products, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly dresses. Not only did they possess all these things, but they could give them away in charity, as did Nanda Maharaj. Haribol, who wants to continue? We have 3 pages.
Asif Prabhu, you can continue.
Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, began to satisfy the desires of all the men assembled there. He, respect, he respectively received them and gave them in charity whatever they desired. The learned Brahmanas who had no other source of income were completely dependent on the Vaishyas and Kshatriya communities for their maintenance. They received gifts on such festive occasions as birthdays, marriages, etc. While Nanda Maharaj was worshipping Lord Vishnu on this occasion and were trying to satisfy all the people there, his only desire was that the newborn child Krishna would be happy. Nanda Maharaj had no knowledge that this child was the origin of Vishnu, but he was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect him. Rohini Devi, mother of Balaram, was the most fortunate wife of Vasudeva. She was away from her husband yet just to congratulate Maharaj Nanda on the occasion of birth ceremony of his son Krishna. She dressed herself very nicely, wearing a garland, a necklace, and other bodily ornaments. She appeared on the scene and moved hither and thither. According to Vedic system, a woman whose husband is not at home does not dress herself very nicely, but although Rohini's husband was away, she still dressed herself on this occasion. From the opulence of the birth ceremony of Krishna, it is very clear that at that time Vrindavan was rich in every respect. Because Lord Krishna took birth in the house of King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, Goddess of Fortune was obliged to manifest her opulences in Vrindavan. It appeared that Vrindavan had already become a site for the pastimes of Goddess of Fortune. After the birth ceremony, Nanda Maharaj decided to go to Mathura to pay the annual tax to the government of Kansa. Before leaving, he called for the able cowherd men of village and asked them to take care of Vrindavan in his absence. When Nanda Maharaj arrived in Mathura, Vasudev got the news and was very eager to congratulate his friend. Immediately went to the palace where Nanda Maharaj was staying. When Vasudeva saw Nanda, he felt that he had regained his life. Nanda, overwhelmed with joy, immediately stood up and embraced Vasudeva. Vasudeva was received very warmly and offered a nice place to sit. At that time, Vasudeva was anxious about his 2 sons. who had been put under the protection of Nanda without Nanda's knowledge. With great anxiety, Vasudeva inquired about them. Both Balaram and Krishna were the sons of Vasudeva. Balaram was transformed to the form of Rohini, Vasudeva's own wife. But Rohini was kept under the protection of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna was personally delivered Yasoda and exchanged with her daughter. Nanda Maharaj knew that Balaram was the son of Vasudeva, although he did not know that Krishna was also Vasudeva's son. But Vasudeva was aware of this fact and inquired very eagerly about Krishna and Balaram. Vasudeva then addressed him, "My dear brother, you were old enough and very anxious to beget a son, and yet you had none. Now, by the grace of the Lord, you are fortunate to have a very nice son. I think that this incident is very auspicious for you. Dear friend, I was imprisoned by concern. Now I am released. Therefore, this is another birth for me. I had no hope of seeing you again, but by God's grace I can see you." Vasudeva then expressed his anxiety about Krishna. Krishna was sent incognito to the bed of Mother Yashoda, and after very pompously celebrating his birth ceremony, Nanda went to Mathura. So Vasudeva was very pleased and said that this is a new birth for me. He never expected that Krishna would live because all his other sons were killed by Kansa. Vasudeva continued, "My dear friend, it is very difficult for us to live together, although we have our family and relatives, sons, daughters. By nature's way, we are generally separated from one another. The reason for this is that every living entity appears on this earth under different pressures of productive activities. Although they assemble together, there is no certainty of their remaining together for a long time. According to one's productive activities, one has to act differently and thereby be separated. For example, many plants and creepers are floating on the waves of the ocean. Plant goes one way and another plant goes another. Similarly, our family assembly may be very nice while we are living together, but after some time in the course of the wave of time, we are separated. The purport of this expression by Vasudeva is this: although he had 8 sons born in the womb of Devaki, unfortunately they were all gone. He could not even keep his one son Krishna with him. Vasudeva was feeling his separation, but he could not express the real fact. "Please tell me about the welfare of Vrindavan," he said. "You have many animals. Are they happy? Are they getting sufficient grass and water? Please also let me know whether the palace where you are now living is undisturbed and peaceful." This inquiry was made by Vasudeva because he was very anxious about Krishna's safety. He knew that Kansa and his followers were trying to kill Krishna by sending various kinds of demons. They had already resolved that all children born within 10 days of the birthday of Krishna should be killed. Because Vasudeva was so anxious about Krishna, he inquired about safety of his residents. He also inquired about Balaram and his mother, Rohini, who were entrusted to the care of Nanda Maharaj. Vasudeva also reminded Nanda Maharaj that Balarama did not know his real father. He knows he was his father, and now you have another child, Krishna, and I think you are taking very nice care for both of them. It is also significant that Vasudeva inquired about the welfare of Nanda Maharaj's animals. The animals and especially the cows were protected exactly in the manner of one's children. Vasudeva was a Kshatriya and Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya. It is the duty of a Kshatriya to give protection to the citizens of mankind, and it is the duty of the Vaishyas to give protection to the cows. The cows are as important as the citizens, just as the human citizens should be given all kinds of protection, so the cow also should be given full protection. Vasudeva continued to say that the maintenance of religious principles, economic development, and satisfactory execution of meeting the demands of the census depend on cooperation among relatives, nations, and all humanity. Therefore, it is everyone's duty to see that his fellow citizens and the cows are not put into difficulty. One should see to the peace of the peace and comfort of his fellow man and the animals. The development of religious principles, economic development, and sense gratification can then be achieved without difficulty. Vasudeva expressed his sorrow due to not being able to give protection to his own son born of Devaki. He was thinking that religious principle, economic development, and the satisfaction of his senses were therefore all lost. On hearing this, Nanda Maharaj replied, "My dear Vasudeva, I know that you are very much aggrieved because the cruel king Kansa had killed all your sons born of Devaki. Although the last child was a daughter, Kansa could not kill her and she was entered into the celestial planets. My dear friend, do not aggrieve. We are all being controlled by our past unseen activities. Everyone is subjected to his past deeds. And one who is conversant with the philosophy of karma and its reaction is a man in knowledge. Such a person will not be aggrieved at any incident, happy or miserable." Vasudeva then replied, "My dear Nanda, if you have already paid the government taxes, then return soon to your palace, because I think that there may be some disturbances in Gokula." After the friendly conversation between Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, Vasudev requested to his home. Returned. Vasudev returned or Nanda Maharaj? Prabhu? Prabhu, it is mistake or what?
Here?
After, yes, Prabhu. After the friendly conversation between Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, Vasudev returned to his home.
Is it Nanda
It is
Maharaj who returned?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm saying that.
Hmm.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
The cowherd man, headed by Nanda Maharaj, who had come to Mathura to pay their taxes, also returned. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the fifth chapter of Krishna meeting of Nanda and Vasudev. Hari Bol.
Go. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Haribo.
Okay, tomorrow we continue with Putana witch. चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावादुजीवनम् आनन्दं पुदिवर्तनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पिता नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवम् ईदृशमिहा जनिनानुरागः
Trinadapi sunicena taro api sahisnuna amanina manadena kritanya sadahari.
अतनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
अयिनन्द तनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां शमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थिता धूलिसदृशं विचिन्तयात्
Nayanam Galadashrudaraya Vadanam Gadgadarudaya Giram Pulakairine Chitam Vapukada Travanam Grahane Bhavishyati.
Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravirsha itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me.
आश्लिष्यवापादरतां विनष्टमादर्शनां मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदिधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः
Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna, Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not there are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of birth, ocean of death, and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna, my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is always completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo, Sri Success.
Jai. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy names of the Lord.
Haribo.
Should I also give the second one?
Yes, Prabhu.
To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal or independent of the names of the Lord Vishnu.
Haribo. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master or consider him as an ordinary person.
To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
Haribo.
To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Give some interpretation to the glories of the holy name. No, to the holy name only.
To commit sinful activities. Okay, you can go, Prabhu.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Consider. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the ritualistic activities mentioned in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Yeah, the ninth one, I think it's about faithful, but I don't know the order, but teaching those who are faithless.
Yes, Prabhu, to instruct faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Oh,
Intent is to not have faith in chanting and to maintain materialistic attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnav must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, which is Krishna Prema. Hari Bol.
Hari
Vancha
Bol.
Yascha
Yasya
Kripa
Everyone,
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining. It was really nice reading.
like Prabhu, can you summarize that Ashish Prabhu, like two pages? I am not there, so network is so weak. So what is the summary, like how Nanda Maharaj and um, Nanda Maharaj and what Vasudeva met?
Asit Prabhu, can you explain?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, at that time, when Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva met, then Vasudeva asked Nanda Maharaj about Krishna and Balaram because he was very concerned about them because Kamsa was trying to kill Krishna because the uh, according to the predestined kill of his, he trying to kill all the newborn child within the 10 days. So for that, Vasudeva was very concerned and asked Nanda Maharaj about various things about safety, security, and about other things such animal, about cows, and about the other villagers of Gokula. And then he again asked about Balaram and Krishna, although he know that he known that both Balaram and Krishna are his sons. Then in this way the conversation is going on, and at last they were both woke up, and Nanda Maharaj returned to Gokula.
Did you hear Vivek Prabhu? What is he writing? Oh, yes, Prabhu. So they went to the Mathura to pay tax to the government of Kamsa. Nanda Maharaj went, and there they met.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tell me, Prabhu. What did you watch for Haridas Thakur? Or read?
Yes, Prabhu. I watched Nimanita Prabhu's lecture. There I heard the story. That was actually nice when Nimanita Prabhu explained.
Oh, I was actually inside the live where he teaches kids, ne?
Yes, Prabhu. Did you hear the story of Haridas Thakur?
Oh no, I did not hear it fully.
Yes, Prabhu. He's Lord Brahman.
Oh yes. Oh.
You heard that part? That was interesting.
No, I did not reach that one.
Yes, Prabhu. Today, shortly, he explained about the pastimes of Haridas Thakur and how he left.
Oh, I think I need to give myself some 1 hour to watch it today, hey?
Yes, Prabhu. Let's see what it is. There is also many nice movies about Haridas Thakur.
Yeah, I think I saw the one written in the language of Hindu, and then there are subtitles of English.
Is this is the is it Haridas Thakur who had the Mirabai pastime, or is it someone else? Am I mixing? Who had that? I think it was Haridas Thakur. Oh, it's not finding. Is it? Oh, here's the movie. It must be. But why is there no? I'm searching in Google, there is nothing. Yeah, this is the movie.
Yeah,
This is a really nice movie.
it's the same movie that I found, but I wish I could get the one in English, eh?
Is this Russian?
No, I think it's Hindi. I'm not sure.
Ah, yes, I've seen the Russian one.
चैतन्य महाप्रभु को आप नहीं जानते हैं? कृष्ण भगवान को आप जानते हैं ना? हमारे घर में हाँ हाँ कृष्ण तो बहुत दूर की सोच में थे। तो फिर देर किस बात की है?
So, Prabhu, Haridas Thakur came after Lord Chaitanya, eh?
Yes, same time. See, here he is.
Oh, same time.
Here is the woman, because they send a prostitute to Haridas Thakur and they try to make him fall down. But Haridas Thakur
Oh,
was just chanting. And he came, when the
and
prostitute
she
came, he
right?
said, Haridas Thakur said to him that, yes, I will come to see, I will talk to you, but I have to finish my rounds. He said always when she came. And then eventually she became devotee. See, here he is chanting.
Oh, and then there's the girl.
Yes. In this movie, he looks.
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
He is just chanting.
श्री राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम
हरिदास हरिदास
हरे कृष्ण
तुम गूंगे हो तुम बहरे हो हरिदास हरिदास मैं कब से परेशान हूँ तुमसे बात करने के लिए
राम 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 राम
तुम मेरी तरफ देखते क्यों नहीं
हरे कृष्ण
हरिदास
राम
तुम बोलते क्यों नहीं बोलो बोलो बोलो
मैंने प्रतिदिन 3 लाख हरिनाम जप करने का व्रत लिया है जब समाप्त होने के बाद
Yo, 3,000.
इच्छा पूरी करने का
Yes, Prabhu, he chanted 18 hours a day.
बैठ जाओ
Yo. And we cry for 2 hours, eh?
Yes, Prabhu.
तुम
And when he felt he could not chant anymore, he called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his place and he told, because he was from Muslim background, so he didn't want to enter the Jagannath Puri temple.
Oh,
So he was
is there?
always looking at the Jagannath Puri temples, the flag, because the Puri temple has a it has a big tower and it has a flag on top of it. And they
Oh,
changed.
does Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a movie? Does he have a movie?
Yes, I think surely there is some movies, but I don't remember if I've seen. So Haridas
Because
Thakur
I think
was seeing this flag, and then he didn't go to see Lord Jagannath because he thought he's too impure. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always came to his place because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath came to Haridas Thakur. And then one day they came and they brought prasadam to him, and he could not take much. And then they asked, then they were like, then the people were like, "What is wrong?" And eventually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and then he said that my body is well, everything is well, but I can I he said I feel like I cannot finish my daily rounds anymore. And then he asked to then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that, oh, you are pure devotee, you are so advanced, you don't have to chant anymore so much. It's no worries if you cannot finish your rounds. And then Haridas Thakur said that he knows that his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is gonna leave, and he said he wants to leave before, and he wants to leave seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like in his presence. So then
Oh,
Nimanita Prabhu explains in the live really nicely. I think
So
yeah,
born Muslim.
it's nice pictures.
Hence, he used to take darshan of the chakra on top of the.
I can play.
And then he sent him to the lower. So now, today is Haridas Thakur's disappearance day. Shri Haridas Thakur disappeared in a very special manner. And we're going to be discussing this now. To less to drinking warm water. That's a bit of Haridas Thakur was Lord Brahma in his previous life. Okay, actually, that's a bit of a misstatement. Not in his previous life. He actually came and at the same time he, this is very hard to understand how they.
Imagine he's explaining this to the children.
God sometimes
these are Vaikuntha children. They can understand, but I cannot understand.
They can come, take part in Krishna's pastimes, but at the same time remain where they are,
I wonder
or immediately go back where they are after the pastime. So it's not just the past life. He's the present Lord Brahma that we have. So Haridas Thakur was Lord Brahma in his previous life. As Lord Brahma, he stole all the cowherd boys in order to test Lord Krishna. All the boys were in distress being away from Krishna. Due to his offense towards the cowherd boys, who were the residents of Vrindavan, Lord Brahma took birth in a Muslim family. So we can see that the cowherd boys behind are crying. Actually, it's not like that. They were in deep sleep, So, but it says that because of that, he committed offense and he had to take birth of a Shudra, in a Muslim family. But we will see that actually this was not really a curse. Haridas Thakur considered himself to be a low-born Muslim. Hence, he used to take darshan of the chakra on top of the Jagannath Mandir from a distance. Knowing his greatness, Mahaprabhu himself, who is none other than Jagannath, came to meet Haridas every day. So he used to see the chakra here like that. See? So Prabhupada said that to bow down to the chakra is the same as bowing down to Jagannath. One day, Govinda, who was the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went in great jubilation to deliver the remnants of Lord Jagannath's bhoga to Haridas Thakur. When Govinda came to Haridas, he saw that Haridas Thakur was lying on his back and chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna very slowly and softly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Ram. Govinda requested, Dear Haridas Thakur, please rise. I have brought Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad for you. Haridas Thakur replied, My dear Govinda, today I shall observe fasting, as I have not completed chanting my regular number of rounds. How then can I eat? But you have brought Mahaprasad. How can I neglect it? Saying so, he offered prayers to Mahaprasad, took a little portion and ate it.
Yes, I forgot this. So he didn't want to eat because he couldn't finish the rounds.
Next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Haridas Thakur's place and inquired from him, Haridas, are you well? Haridas Thakur offered his obeisances to the Lord and replied, Dear Lord, my body is all right, but my mind and intelligence are not well. Haridas Thakur continued, My disease is that I cannot complete my chanting. Then Mahaprabhu said,
I have this disease also.
Dearest Haridas, now that you have become old, you may reduce the number of rounds you chant daily. You are already liberated, and therefore you need not follow the regulative principles very strictly. Your role in this incarnation is to deliver the people in general. You have sufficiently preached the glories of the holy name in this world. Haridas Thakur replied, I am an untouchable, but you have accepted me as your servant. My dear Lord, you are the fully independent personality of Godhead. You cause the whole world to dance and act as you like. My dear Lord, by your mercy you have made me dance in many ways. For example, I was offered the Shraddha-patra, which should have been offered to first-class brahmanas. I ate from it, even though I was born in the family of meat-eaters. I have had one desire for a very long time. I think that quite soon, my Lord, you will bring to a close your pastimes within this material world. Before that time comes, kindly let my body fall down in your presence. I wish to catch your lotus-like feet upon my heart and see your moon-like face. With my tongue, I shall chant your holy name, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. This is my desire. Kindly let me give up my body in this way. O most merciful Lord, if by your mercy it is possible, kindly grant my desire. Let this low-born body fall down before you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, My dear Haridas, Krishna is so merciful that he must execute whatever you want. Whatever happiness is mine is all due to your association. It is not all right for you to go away and leave me behind. Catching the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas said, My dear Lord, although I am so fallen, you must certainly show me this mercy. There are many respectable personalities and millions of devotees who are fit to sit on my head. They are all helpful in your pastimes. What is the loss if an insignificant insect like me dies? My Lord, you are always affectionate to your devotees. I am just an imitation devotee, but nevertheless, I wish that you fulfill my desire. After embracing Haridas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left to perform his noon duties and went to the sea to take his bath. The next morning, after visiting the Jagannath temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accompanied by all his devotees, went hastily to see Haridas Thakur. Hastily means fast. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees came before Haridas Thakur, who offered his respects at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and all the Vaishnavas. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, My dear Haridas, what is the news? Haridas Thakur replied, My Lord, whatever mercy you can bestow upon me. Upon hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately began congregational chanting in the courtyard. Vakreshwara Pandita was the chief dancer, headed by Swarup Damodar Goswami. After the kirtan, Mahaprabhu, in front of all the great devotees like Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, began to describe the holy attributes of Haridas Thakur, as if he possessed 5 mouths. The more he described, the more his happiness increased. After hearing the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakur, all the devotees present were struck with wonder. They all offered their respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur had Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit down in front of him and fixed his eyes like 2 bumblebees on the lotus-like face of the Lord. He held the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu close to his heart and took the dust of the lotus feet of all the devotees and put it on his head. He then began to chant the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya again and again. As he drank the sweetness of the lotus-like face of the Lord, tears constantly flowed from his eyes. While chanting the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he gave up his life air and left his body. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Seeing the wonderful passing away of Haridas Thakur by his own will, just like a great mystic yogi, everyone remembered the passing away of Bhishma Dev. There was a tumultuous noise as all devotees chanted the holy names of Hari and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. The Lord held Haridas Thakur's body in his arms. The Lord then began to dance in the courtyard in great ecstatic love. Beholding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, all the devotees became ecstatic and began to dance and chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Haribol.
The body of Haridas Thakur was then raised onto a carrier that resembled an airship and taken to the sea, accompanied by congregational chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A hole was dug in the sand, and the body of Haridas Thakur was placed into it. Various remnants of Lord Jagannath, such as his silken robes, sandalwood pulp, food, and clothes were placed on the body of Haridas Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally covered the body of Haridas Thakur with sand, chanting the names of Lord Hari. Haribol! Haribol! The devotees covered the body of Haridas Thakur with sand and constructed a platform on the site. The platform was protected all around by fencing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared, from this day on, this sea has become a great pilgrimage site. Everyone drank the water that had touched the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. After circumambulating the tomb of Haridas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Simhadvara gate of the Jagannath temple. The whole city chanted in congregation, and the tumultuous sound of the holy name vibrated all over the city. At the Simhadvara gate, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread his cloth and began to beg prasad from all the shopkeepers. The Lord said, I am begging prasadam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Since they say Haridas was Lord Brahma, so meaning he, like after committing that thing, he came down to earth.
Yes, Prabhu, but he didn't like die as Lord Brahma. He was still Lord Brahma, but he also...
Oh, he was still Lord Brahma.
Yes, Prabhu, but also at the same time he appeared here.
Oh, okay. You can continue, Prabhu.
For a festival honoring the passing away of Haridas Thakur. Please give me alms. Hearing this, all the shopkeepers immediately came forward with big baskets of prasadam and jubilantly offered all the prasad to the Lord. All the devotees cooked a wonderful feast together. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit in rows. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally began to distribute prasadam. Lord Chaitanya then sat to honor prasad. Everyone was filled up to the neck because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept telling the distributors, give them more, give them more. After all the devotees honored prasadam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a benediction, saying, anyone who has seen the festival of Srila Haridas Thakur's passing away, or anyone who has chanted and danced here, or anyone who has offered sand on the body of Haridas Thakur, and anyone who has joined this festival to partake the prasadam, will very soon achieve the favor of Lord Krishna. There is such wonderful power in seeing Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was the crown jewel on the head of this world. Without him, this world is now bereft of its valuable jewel. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told everyone, Jai Jai Haridas. Just say all the glories of Haridas Thakur and chant the holy name of Hari. Jai Haridas, Jai Jai Haridas. Thereafter, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to all the devotees, and he himself, with mixed feelings of happiness and distress, took rest. Benediction. Anyone who hears this narration will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. Namacharya Shira Haridas Thakur ki Jai. So we can see the glories of Haridas Thakur. He's the Namacharya, even though born in a lower family. He was the Acharya of the holy name, and his departure is very, very wonderful.
What are the children doing?
So today is Namacharya Haridas Thakur departure. So we're going to follow in his footsteps, and we're going to chant Hare Krishna. So everyone go get your bead bag. We're going to chant.
Yes, Prabhu.
Vamana Dev's appearance day. So two festivals. We're reading, it's going to be about Lord Vamana Dev. Haridas Thakur in our temple. About it. Give China. So Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are Tuesday, so yesterday was Shira Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, and during the
What was yesterday?
Hare Krishna who removed
And what did they do
last
after?
week, so only Wednesday we didn't have.
What, Prabhu?
All right,
Hey,
Vishnu,
Prabhu.
monkey boy.
Every time Prabhu Vishnu Prabhu, monkey boy. Look what he's doing.
Off. There's an option to remove echo. Okay, so thank you for joining. Today is the last day of the week, Friday. We're going to be, I think we're finishing the last story about Brahma and Varahadev. Yes, because we did 4 classes this week, so only Wednesday we didn't have because of Radhashtami. All right, Vishrut, monkey boy. Okay, so we're going to be beginning with the Mangalacharana prayer. Everyone.
Vishnu, monkey boy.
Oh, it's so difficult to teach children, eh?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, these are always so fun.
Yeah, Prabhu Nityanand, Shri
Did
Advaita
we have a
Gadadhar
question for
Shiva.
Bhaktivedanta?
Look what Narayana is doing. They always do some funny faces.
Charin,
Did they have a
Nirvishesha
live for
Shunyavadi,
Bhaktivedanta?
Paschatya Dishatarin. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityanand, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavrin. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining today's last.
Okay, Haribol.
Haribo.
Thank you so much for your kind
Very
association.
nice. Very nice, bro. Very nice. Super. Thank you so much, bro, for your association. Bro, like, you did today, like afternoon till afternoon?
No, Prabhu, today was no fasting.
No, no. Like, Haridas Thakur's disappearance now.
Yes, Prabhu, but in the
You
beginning,
can.
you
Okay,
can
okay,
do
okay.
anything, but Prabhu, in the beginning, Nimanita Prabhu said that Prabhupada
Born in a low.
he didn't
Oh, okay,
celebrate
okay.
this.
Okay.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna,
bro.
everyone. So
So
yes,
I
during the
didn't do
weekend we
today,
closed.
that's good. This is
Today,
compulsory or
I'd
not?
like to
It's okay, bro.
do a
It's okay.
special class. We're not going to be reading from any book, but we're going to be reading
Prabhu.
some stories.
Yes, Prabhu.
And it's going to be
I was like,
Vamana Dev,
did they have a live for
story about
Bhaktivedanta
Haridas
Thakur
Thakur.
yesterday?
Today,
Yesterday they had no, they just did. I think they shortly something said about it, but there was no story. They just
Oh
had.
yeah.
But yesterday they
And I
had
think
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Varahadev story
Shri
they had
Advaita
yesterday.
Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrind. Then address Lord
I'm gonna
Varaha.
start searching for his
Oh
lives.
Lord, this
It's
demon
every
is in
day
the
at
ganda
11.
of devatas.
At
Prabhu, for whom Prabhu
He
told
plays
monkey
multiple
boy?
roles in the maintenance of this.
Vishrut.
Oh, okay, I understand.
There is the two brothers in Singapore, Vishrut and Sriman. Also,
Oh,
Shyam Govinda Prabhu also called them two monkey boys. He said they're two
oh.
little monkeys. He said like this because they
so
jump around
Prabhu,
all
what?
the time.
Funny voice.
What is happening there now? Somebody's on the ground, like dead person. Is he sleeping? They always got something going on there.
Funny voice.
Yes,
Prabhu, you said what's the time of the live every day?
it's 11.
11 IST.
No, Finland time. I think it's your time. It is 10 or 12.
Oh, 10 or 12.
But
But
like
I think we're
the
1 hour ahead.
Yeah, it could be
but
10.
but the way Vishnu is played Kartal was very nice. I seen in videos
Yes, Prabhu.
before.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
very
They live
fast.
in temple, so they know everything.
Ah, very fast.
Their house is just next to the temple, like the next door.
Oh, oh, really?
Yes, Prabhu. So they're
Hmm.
every day like living in temple.
Okay, so thanks so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thanks so much.
Also, Samad
Thank you.
Prabhu, he's living in temple. He's living like next door of temple.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you so much for your kind association.
Thank you so much, bro. I think that was the January.
Bye.
Madhanal Puna. Until possible update on a Krishna Namo Nama.
Maybe Vaishnavi
Hare
Namo
Krishna.
Namo.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.